Amy, you get us started.
All
We've got
right.
Councilman Marcus Smith with us tonight, and I'm glad you came out, brother. I really am.
Thank you for the invitation, buddy.
Yeah, but I'm going to give you my mic. She's going to ask a few questions. I may
Okay.
come up with something, too.
All right, I'm ready.
We're going to hit you hard, but we
Okay.
want to find solutions to the problems that we have downtown.
I mean, solutions is very, very important, right?
Yeah. Why don't you give us a quick 20 seconds who you are? November of last year, you came on to the city council.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit
Okay,
about
so thank you for having me. My name is Marcus Smith. Yes, I was elected to the city council November 2024. Retired military, 30 years of service, retired as a lieutenant colonel of the United States Air Force. Prior enlisted in the Navy. When I retired, as a logistics officer. I worked at Patrick Air Force Base for many, many years with the rescue squadron there. When I retired in 2021, I joined the Planning and Zoning Board, became the chair of the Planning and Zoning Board, decided to run for office, and look at God. When I was doing that, I've always been a public servant, and I just decided to continue to serve, and here I am right now. Originally from Atlanta, Georgia, have an electrical engineering degree from Georgia Tech. When I got my MBA, so that was the track that I was on. I was going to be doing the engineering and the project management, but now I currently serve as a financial advisor with New York Life, and I just fell in love with helping people that way, with financial literacy. Had a tax business now for 15 years, and I've helped a lot of people around the world, done a number of workshops. John Maxwell, love training and leadership. So I believe in solutions, right? So if problems, rather than frustration, then let's try to work together and figure out if we can find solutions. So let's have this discussion. I'm here tonight and ready to talk with you all about homelessness. So.
The problem is homelessness.
Yes, it is.
What's the solution? Okay, we'll unpack that.
All right, let's go.
Unless
Let's
you've
talk.
got it. Unless
No.
right?
We have to chip away at it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So we've got city, we've got Christian nonprofits, we've got other nonprofits, we've got businesses.
Yes.
How do you see everyone coming together, and what is the city's role in homelessness?
Well, that's a great, tough question to start off with, right, Amy?
Yeah, you know what? I just go right
Just jump right in, right?
Yep.
Well, so here's what I'll say. So I was a community leader even before I got elected. And what I believe is that everyone definitely needs to work together. But we have to be results oriented, because a lot of times there's a lot of lip service and talk. I've listened throughout the day some of the conversations that y'all have had. I was listening early to my good friend Kenny Johnson and some of the things that were said earlier. I did visit New Life Mission a couple years back before I got elected with the current mayor, Paul Alfrey, and I really love what was happening there. And I think that the model that New Life Mission offers is a part of one of the ways that we can solve homelessness, which is helping people to become self-sufficient. The Bible talks about it. Rather than giving people fish, let's teach people how to fish.
Yes.
That's one of the reasons why I'm a big believer in financial literacy. I was going to wear my financial literacy shirt because financial literacy works. Workforce development works. I believe in things like what's happening with Providence Place. We move away from the soup kitchen model, which is what the Daily Bread was, and we move more to the Providence Place model, right? And so we do those kind of things, but we also have to realize that there's no panacea, right? There's just not a one fixed thing. We just can't hit the light switch and then expect. We have to continually work together. So as you say, these different levels, you have the businesses, you have the city government, you have the nonprofits. We have to understand the role that we each play, and then we continually work together. And what do I mean by that? What that means is that
I'm glad you asked, because I was going to ask.
So what I mean by that is that as we continue on the evolution, we continue to monitor and we continue to say, here are the results. Because just like any project, like I got a couple of projects that hopefully we'll get a chance to talk about. I'll start a project and I'll be like, okay, this is a 7-year project. Mm-hmm. And I'll go in automatically thinking like that because of either the dynamics or the people that I'm working with. And I'll say, hey, you all, you have to have what I coined, which is strategic patience. We have to have an understanding to say that there's no way Rome wasn't built in a night. Whoever came up with that, they were absolutely right? So we have to be patient with one another and say, let's start down the path, chip away at it, and let's continue to evolve and make it better. Are we moving in the right direction? Because if we're moving in the wrong direction, then we need to change directions and we need to fix the course. So that's what I think. We look at the different levels, identify the problems, and then we try to make and get results to make things better.
So what does that look like for homelessness? We've identified a problem,
Yes.
right? We have an increasing problem
Okay.
or changing problem.
Yeah.
So what does that look like? What do you think is the city's role?
Okay, so let's be specific. So one of the things that I've done, we had a homelessness workshop in the city of Melbourne. Were you all aware of that? Mm-hmm. Okay. We did that. And one of the tasks that came out of that is we're doing asset mapping. And that was something that was near and dear to my heart. And so Love Inc. is one of the organizations that I've worked closely
They'll be
with.
here tomorrow.
Yep. So Christy Stewart, another good friend of mine. And so we've started to identify, work with the different organizations to identify where our resources are. So you have this big nebulous, big problem, and then you start to chip away, say, okay, let's identify the resources. And then we start to put the puzzle pieces on the board, right? A part of that is not only with asset mapping, we also say, okay, well, what are some of the other things that we're missing here? I'm also part of the Brevard Prosperity Initiative. I've been doing that for 3 years. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
I'm not. Tell us about that.
So Shannon Procise, and that was something under the Florida Chamber of Commerce. They have websites that identify the zip codes that are the most underserved. And we're doing, so underneath the Brevard Prosperity Initiative, I've started a workforce development initiative at the Historic American Legion. I have 10 students already about to graduate, get their certification in the audiovisual certification. So again, financial literacy, workforce development, similar to what y'all are doing at New Life. We have to continually to put puzzle pieces on the board, get people trained in order to become more self-sufficient, right? So Brevard Prosperity Initiative, Stephanie Robinson, I know she's not here. She's with Career Source Brevard. They're offering a grant to the Historic American Legion. And I'm hoping that we take this Historic American Legion and we actually get continual funding and we actually make it a hub for entrepreneurship and workforce development in the South Melbourne area so that we say this underserved population that's here, I'm a vet, right? I also used to be the program director for the Small Business Development Center up in the Cocoa campus, right? So how do we help people to become more entrepreneur, self-sufficient? How do we help people to create more opportunities so that it's a thing that I really believe in, which is increase the hope factor, right? So as opposed to saying that, yes, I know we have these problems, so if I can help one individual or a few individuals by investing in them, and I see that in the New Life mission, and then as they move up the continuum, then now they're able to help not only themselves, but the family members that are around them. And if we use that as a model, just similar, I'm also with the Neighbor Up Brevard, and I see what they're doing in the Neighbor Up Brevard model with the Booker T. Washington neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Let's continue to do models like that, and we meet people where they are, right? We stop trying to force feed and keep just giving handouts, but we meet people where they are, invest in them, and help them to lift themselves up. So if you ask me what I feel like the solutions are, is we continue to sort of do models like that, and we have volunteers and people that are willing to be patient and invest in the human nature of folks, and we build.
So what are they investing in? Are they investing in the nonprofits? Are they investing in, like, as we're collecting data, I'm just not wrapping my brain around like what are, I'm patient, but I feel like the problem's getting worse and worse and worse. You know, what are you hearing from people in downtown Melbourne or anywhere else?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we need to figure out the funding side of that. I think if I think about your question, yes, we probably need to invest in a nonprofit. I know Buddy has reached out to me about an idea that he has. We need to figure out how to. So if I back up a little bit, when I ran my campaign, I had 4 pillars of progress, and those were just things that are near and dear to my heart as a community organizer. One of them was community economic development, right? Invest in communities. So hopefully this may answer your question about what do you invest in. Number 2 was nonprofit and small business development. Invest in the nonprofits and the small businesses. And you're going to start hearing me, even as I stay in office more, put a little bit more programs out and proposals out about that, right? Mm-hmm. And number 3, workforce development. Invest in workforce development programs. So a lot of people will say maybe invest in CTE. I love the CTE at the high school level, but I also believe in investing like Brevard Adult Ed. Invest in the program I'm talking about with the American Legion, because we need to reach working adults, because I think one way to shift communities is to invest in the aunts and uncles and the adults that are in the area, because maybe they just want to maybe shift what they were doing before, and they just need a little bit more of an inject of hope in order to lift themselves up and lift the families that are around. And then number 4, which I just left the police community forum, is called civic engagement and empowerment. I think we need to figure out how to help people to engage a little bit more in the community to help them reduce the frustration. In other words, help them understand that they have a voice, and their voice can be heard, and their voice can actually help to be a part of the change. So invest in those first 3 are actually pathways to prosperity, of ways that things that can be invested in and create pathways to prosperity.
Right. Because I think people are frustrated. I mean, in general. And where did you say you came from? The law.
I came from God. No, just kidding. No.
Amen. Just from now you came from the.
Oh, I was down at the Melbourne Police Relations Council. They have their annual police community forum, and it was down at the right here at the Civic Center.
Maybe that's where everybody is. We haven't seen law enforcement.
Oh yeah, they're all down there.
We're really struggling. Tell me your thoughts on this. We are really struggling to get.
I heard you say that earlier. Yeah.
We're struggling to get people out to have the conversation. You know, city. Now we're not struggling much with other providers. They want, obviously they're doing the job. They want to be a part of it. But why do you think people might be hesitant, or, to find solutions or to have the conversations?
They may be hesitant to have the conversation, but I don't think people are hesitant to do the work. I'm not getting the sense that in this day and time, just even based off of some of the things I just mentioned to you, I think that people are ready to do the work now.
The general public. Okay.
No, let me not say general public. Let me say maybe little specific pockets.
Like nonprofits. Nonprofits are doing the work.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. I know a lot of people have questions about what is the cost to taxpayers. Homelessness has a definite cost to taxpayers.
So like the city of Melbourne, right? We gave even before I got on the council, they gave the $3 million to Daily Bread, and they were going to give that property as, to help them to actually get that place launched. I mean, so the city of Melbourne has led the way, and really to say we are committed to helping with the homelessness problem. So there are initiatives and things like that are happening, and I can't really speak for the other municipalities, but there are things that I'm aware of, and now that I'm engaging even more myself, I want to be a part of helping to lead those kind of initiatives.
I mean, across the state, but we have a county-wide crisis.
Yeah,
so
I know. In the county, yeah.
As Buddy and I, Independent Missions, look to work together, and then we're working with Community of Hope and Love Inc., and we're trying to work along with everyone else. You might have heard Kenny earlier say, that all the cities need to get their egos out of the way and work together. What would that look like? Do you agree? And what would that look like?
I do agree, and we've talked about that even at our level, because it is a countywide, and you don't really hear that collaboration at that level yet, and I'll use that term yet. And I think that what we need to do, things like this, to advocate and to put it a little bit more on the radar. There's another organization that I could try to maybe help you all get on the radar for, which is the League of Cities. Are you all familiar with the League of Cities?
I have spoken in front of the League of Cities. I've had my 3 minutes many times.
Well, let's get you more than 3 minutes.
No response from anybody. Nobody knows what to do.
Not but there's another avenue at the League of Cities to where it's not the 3 minutes, to where you actually get to brief. Yeah. As a part of being on, because I use that term yet, because things are, I think, shifting, because with New Life Mission, I've been asked to be a part of what's the event coming up next year?
Community Care and Share.
Yes. I love that. The big dream. I mean, we was all talking about what is your big dream. I mean, so there are things coming up now that I think that working together collaboratively to where let's ask again.
Yeah.
Right?
Keep asking.
Yeah.
I've got a question.
Absolutely keep asking.
What do you think it would take to bring our government agencies together? I mean, we were talking to Councilman.
Buddy, take a microphone.
We were talking to, and I call him Brother Kenny, just like I call you Brother Marcus. And I
Right.
don't mean disrespect, because I know y'all are
No,
doing a
no
great job as
disrespect.
council people. But one of the things we were talking about is it left up to us, the nonprofit organizations, the providers around here. Is it up to us to start trying to bring the cities and our county together, and get something like that started, so there's more interaction with the cities, or is that left up to the cities need to get more involved?
So yes, I heard you ask that question, and the answer is yes, and yes on both sides, right? So, and she just really said it. You just have to keep asking. So, if you think about it, even from a biblical standpoint, which is even from the first story in the Bible, in the wilderness, there's sort of this drumbeat, right? And you even think I'm a big believer in I read Dr. King. Right, where do we go from here? Community chaos. And I want to be the drumbeat, the drum major for justice. Right,
Yes,
there's this thing of just this consistency of a drumbeat, and I don't have to beat loud, but I just have to stay consistent.
That's great.
Yeah.
So what could you say to us as two nonprofits sitting here? How could we start a action to try to bring our city governments together and start addressing, with the city leaders and things like that, to address some of the issues that we feel like we have? Maybe not some support sometimes, and I'm not necessarily saying Melbourne. I know y'all work hard at it. I've been in plenty of council meetings, but we're wanting to do some things, but it seems like no one wants it in their backyard, and so it's just like we want to build another
Right.
portion on our property there, and we're going to have to go through probably a year or something like that to even get to that point of seeing whether we can get permitted, because we need a special use permit. But what are some of those things that you feel like in your heart that we could do? And maybe if New Life Mission and CITA Mission was the beginning of this, to try to bring our city governments together on the homeless situation.
I mean, when did Helen's Place open up?
It's been a year ago.
Year ago,
Yeah, a year
right?
ago.
When did New Life Mission open? It's been a
We have
while.
4 campuses. We've been around 16 years.
Yeah. So.
In downtown here, we've been here 56 years. 56
So,
years.
so I think that the testimony or the testament is I think we're talking about it. Number one, we're doing it right now, right? Number two, we just talked about, we almost just in space ethereally just crafted out a plan, League of Cities. We just kind of talked about, we just do things and then we pray, and then we just
Keep hitting it one step at a time.
right. We
brother.
just keep hitting it
Yeah.
one step at a time, and then we measure the results. And it's almost like I'm a big believer. I read a lot of books. Jim Collins, Good to Great, right? And he talks about the flywheel push, right? And he talks about the hedgehog concept. You have a couple of things that we go for, and we just keep pushing the flywheel. And we put it out there to the universe, right? It's almost like the book The Secret. I can name a lot of books that talks about it, right?
Yeah. Let me go back, because you said you had a couple of things you were working on. I don't know whether you've already mentioned that or not.
I have, but let
Otherwise-
me mention it clearly. Let me
Okay,
mention it again.
yeah.
So through the Brevard Prosperity Initiative and working with Career Source Brevard, we started a workforce development program. That's a pilot program at the Historic American Legion. And right now we ended up with 11 students, and 10 of those students are currently testing to get a workforce development certification through AVIXA, and they're going to get an audiovisual certification. We run into a little roadblocks, but I think it's a big deal, because workforce development, I think, is just one of those solutions to help people to become more self-sufficient.
Sure.
And we know that there's a lot of employers, maybe not the big boys, but what about the second tier, the third tier employers who just want good employees? So the vision that's in my head is to create a entrepreneur and workforce development center at the Historic American Legion, because during the day, it could really be a place to where it could offer a variety of classes that maybe are not offered anywhere else, right? To help people get certified. That's one thing. I'm also involved in another organization, the Concerned Citizens of South Brevard, and we're documenting history, because Melbourne was originally settled by 3 freed slaves. I don't know if you all know that. And we're building a monument right there across from the American Legion. And we're looking at maybe starting a historic and a cultural trail. So there's a lot of initiatives. And so my point about that is, if we're able to improve the quality of life of an completely underserved community, I think those are the kind of things that also can improve homelessness, because if I can help a potential community and improve the quality of life by creating opportunity for others, and just say, hey, look, everything is improving, that's going to improve the mindset of everybody that's involved. A rising tide lifts all of the boats.
Yes.
So we just have to continually to do things like that, because then that way, no matter where you are, no matter where you go, it's going to be like, hey, I am so proud to be a part of, from this community, to be in this area, you know, and no matter where you go, because a lot of situations of maybe whether that's crime or hopelessness are down in areas where they're underserved populations. So we got to improve all areas. Is really my point.
Well, I think even with the providers, I was in a meeting just a few weeks ago, and Councilman Newman was there, and several providers were there, to church, local, and I think, as Kenny said it, we start things and we just don't follow through with the actions. But I think that we need to do a better job, even with our nonprofits, of us coming together. And instead of having a meeting three times a year or something like that, and have one thing I enjoyed about this meeting, we have these meetings and then, you know, we have somebody come and speak to us and they spend the hour speaking. What we did is we sat around a table and we talked about the situations and how to improve on what we were doing. And I think it was maybe the best meeting I've been in as far as dealing with our homeless population, with the providers. And I think Amy and I and others, I think we need to work on coming together a little bit better. And I think Amy started something a few months ago that we're going to follow through with, and bringing those providers together, especially the faith-based providers. And I know you've probably heard this, and I know the people on the feed, they've probably heard this more than they want to, but you know, each and every night, 70%, a little over 70% of the homeless, what do you call it? What type of beds? Overnight shelter. There we go. It's a shame we do that and I can't even remember it. But anyway, the overnight shelter beds, over 70% of them are done by faith-based organizations.
Yes.
And that's in America.
Yes.
You know. So anyway, we got to wrap up. Do you have another question?
If I could say one last thing, so I'm a very strong faith-based man, and I read my Bible app every day, and you know. And I have this from my Bible study yesterday. So love compelled Jesus to prioritize people. The woman at the well, the man with leprosy, a Roman officer, a blind beggar, Peter's mother-in-law, a widow's son, a despised tax collector, even the thief hanging next to him on the cross. Jesus didn't see problems. He saw and loved people. Love compelled Jesus to serve others. He washed his disciples' feet, pursued the marginalized, had compassion on the sick, weary, and broken. In the end, he gave his own life for ours. So if Jesus is the model of loving all, then that's the same model that we all need to follow in our community. So.
Amen.
Good words, man. Good words.
Thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you.
I appreciate
Keep up the good work.
All right.
Now let's go to work. We got a lot of work to do.
Task list.